Good morning, everybody. This is Jonathan Vasquez, also going by the name Jay Velasco. This is my third video, and pretty excited. I got original content for you guys. This time around, I'm bringing in articles as well. More information for everybody to look up themselves, and just this is gonna be a really fun and really fun video for me. I've been excited for since I finished the second video, and I just been ready for this. I've been really ready. And this has to do with the Black Panther movie and Black Lives. And my brother, he told me he's been telling me yo, don't touch that type of topic because that isn't your topic. You don't you have no you have no word in it. But back and forth we talked, and I told him, listen, this is how I feel. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to be able to reach out to people, and everybody's gonna have their opinion. Some will agree, some won't agree, and but that's the whole point. Getting my voice across, getting my point across, and with peace and love. So there shouldn't be hard feelings, and there shouldn't be anger towards me. But if there is, reach out to me and talk to me so we can have the discussion instead of blindly being angry. Let's get to the bottom of it. The whole point is to get behind one message and bring that peace and love, because at the end of the day, I am you just as much as you are me, and we belong to peace and love, and I strongly believe that. And so just talking about these things, is just gonna, I feel like it could open us up more to each other. And there's been some tragic events that have happened. A man in New Orleans, he was shot down, and he was an activist for the the Black Lives Matter movement. And he was shot in New Orleans, and I guess maybe he rode down 6 blocks away from where he first got shot, and he ended up bleeding out and dying. And it was a tragedy, because a lot of people saw this guy as like one of the biggest leaders of the movement, and this guy was here to make change. And it's sad that a lot of people think that you won't see that spark in another person, just as much as you saw it in him. But with that influence, knowing that that information's out there, someone will take up that mantle. Someone will become that leader. Someone will thrive off of that man's energy and continue on. Live for him. Like, mourn the death because it's very sad, but live for him because that soul, that person wants you to continue on and keep on fighting. And there's another man in North Carolina. He was on Facebook shooting a live video, and he was walking around his campus in North Carolina, trying to get rid of all the dope dealers around there. So I guess he had tipped off the police officers, and as he was leaving the police station, he was like just walking around his neighborhood, and a man came up to him and shot him. And he recorded it. He told the man, "You're live on camera." He kept on repeating the words, "You're live, you're live, you're live," and bullets flew, and all you see is the camera go down, and the gunman jump over the camera, and that's how the video ends. These are people, man. These are people, beautiful souls out there, getting wasted, and it's a tragedy. These people are trying to make the impact, and it's scary, and it's horrific to know that like people that are out there to make a difference in the world are in danger, and just because they're trying to make a difference in their world and trying to bring people together, and stop the ignorance. And and some people are radical, and some people are passive, and it's just we have to find a way to like really band each other together and make this happen. And so talking about that, and talking about I want to go on to Black Panther. the Black Panther movie, and it was such a beautiful movie. I had to watch it like back to back because this movie was just top notch stuff. And it was the movie because I'm a huge comic book nerd, and I love that stuff, and and I also and I also love the message behind it. It's great. It's a term that's been brought up called Black Futurism or Afrofuturism. Sorry, it's Afrofuturism, and the whole point of the term is like to. Sorry, I need to tap on my phone really quick. Um, the whole point of the term is, where would black, African American Africans be? Where would Africans be if if the Europeans never came? If the white man never came? And that Black Panther movie represents all of that because they never came for them, and they took control of their destiny, and they made a difference in the Wakanda tribe, and it's so beautiful. And then and they banded together. Five tribes banded together and named the land Wakanda, and they fought for it. And four of them decided to come together, while the fifth one decided to live up in the mountains, separating themselves from them because they disagreed. So Wakanda thrived, and they lived in harmony. And it's so beautiful. It's just another interpretation of the my favorite Disney movie, The Lion King, and it's just so beautiful. For the moment he goes into the motherlands, the past lands, when he gets buried alive, and he gets to see his father again in the shape of a panther, and it was amazing. Sorry if this is spoilers for you guys. If this is spoilers for anybody, then you should have already watched the movie. It's amazing. There's a reason why it's making all this money. And then just there's so many messages in this movie that you could take from and put it into your own world, and really start questioning, why are these things the way it is? Shouldn't it be this way? Shouldn't we eradicate some of the old stuff and adapt, because we're in a new age where we should be changing things up, things that would work for our society, for our people, because we're waking up and we want to band together. We're tired of seeing all these gun shootings. We're tired of seeing people die. We're tired of seeing people across the world of dying, and it's been way too long, and we need to make the difference now more than ever, and especially with nutrition. We need to educate ourselves in nutrition, and it was amazing to see that message, that the tribe that lived up in the mountains in Wakanda, they were vegetarian, and these were like strong big dudes, and it's true. Nutrition could play a big impact in your health and in your strength. It's little things like that we need to start working on in our society, so that we could become better, because all the food, processed food, red meats, and unhealthy meats, unhealthy like chicken, these are things that are hurting our bodies, when we could thrive from eating a nutritional organic food. And it's easy to get your hands on it. The sad part is, a lot of farmers believe, that they need to continue using pesticides because it's a lot easier for them, and they don't have to worry about losing their crops, while farming organic food. But it's being done, and it's being shown through others that we could live that way, that it's possible. And I myself went vegan, and I'm showing my family that, like, look at this prime example. I'm doing it. I'm being the example for my family, so I could see more years with my family, because it's become a big significant thing in my life. My family is I was never that close to my family, and I at one point I couldn't care less. I wanted to live my life because they were living theirs, and we weren't seeing eye to eye. But now it's become a huge thing, and now I'm taking it in control, and I want to show them that if I could change, they could change, and we could both change together, and we could open each other's eyes to these things, share each other's feelings, show that we really truly love each other, and be there for each other. And I am doing it for my family, and I'm doing it for the people around me, and it's just very important for me. And so, I grew up, you know, I grew up, my family wasn't there all the time, and it's understandable. Uh, just like any other family, you live through hard times, and I never grew with some type of ignorance towards a different race just because another person looked different. I always welcomed people as a kid, and my my friends, a lot of friends were Filipinos, Hispanics, and African, and you know it was just I had a broad spectrum of friends, and like I never grew up with hatred in my life like that towards another person. Uh, Maybe to my friend Jamal, because I thought I was the fastest kid in elementary, and then here comes Jamal, starts beating me and racing and running, and maybe I was upset with him with that. But I've had friends, I had friends that were in wheelchairs, that were looked at differently, and I always attracted more to those because I've always looked out for them. I've always wanted to be there for them and just be good friends with them, to show them that they're not alone, that there's people that actually do care for them. And sorry, one more time on that. Let me just keep on clicking on my phone. Don't want it turning off on me. And so, uh, it's been a very important thing for me to connect with everybody, especially now because I want to bring peace and love to the world. And yeah, it's been a ride. It's been very beautiful, and I've got to I got to know a lot of people throughout my days, through concerts, comic book stores, through work, bookstores. It's been fun. And so, you know, going back into the Black Panther the movie, I want to bring some light to some of these things that the movie brought to us. And I'm gonna read some stuff. I got some stuff here. You know, the Black Panther suit itself. Uh, you know, the costume designer drew the sacred geometry of Africa onto the Black Panther costume, and like all those patterns are just like from different like tribes, and all the costumes that they put out there, all the colors, it's just like a representation of all the tribes, put together. It was just very beautiful. And there's that one. You could see that article in NPR. It's called Black Panther Costume Designer Draws on the Sacred Geometry of Africa. Um, there's the there's the there's an article in New York Times. Wakanda is a fake country, but the African language is Black Panther is in Black Panther is real. And they talked about it's a it's a language that the father T'Challa, the father of Black Panther, pushed to the director to use this language so that they could bring some authenticity to Wakanda, to the Africans, to make it more authentic, bring some light to these characters, some life to this character. And I believe you pronounce it Hosa, or it's XHO. Sorry about that. The video cut off because the size of the file. But I'm still going. I'm still speaking on the language, and they spoke a little bit of that language in Civil War when Black Panther was in the when Black Panther meets up with his father before his father passes away, before the father dies from the explosion. They speak a little bit of that language there, but after that movie, that's when they pushed it onto of course, the Black Panther movie, and it's very beautiful. The language, it's clicking sounds, it's sucking of the teeth, it's these. It's a different way of speaking, but it's so beautiful, and it's a heavy language. About 50% of Africans claim to be that's the their native tongue. And so you could get that one. You could get that article in the New York Times. The one article that I love the most from the New York Times was the name is "Why Black Panther is a Defining Moment for Black America," and that one was very beautiful. Uh, the Ryan Coogler talks on about um, talks on about his trip to South Africa after he finished the movie Creed, and so he went to South Africa, and he he met up with this older woman that would take him all the way to the top of the mountain to go meet an even older woman. And so as they were climbing up this mountain, they would stop each time for a shepherd along the way, and they would give him a piece of watermelon, and that shepherd would use a rag and seal the watermelon and take it along with him. And Ryan Coogler thought, like, what was the reason for that? And it was because they found that the watermelon is a very ritual, a very beautiful nutritional plant, fruit. And it brings life. It brings nutrition from the fruit, and it brings life through the seeds. And so it's a very sacred plant for them, sacred root. And so he got frustrated because they kept on stopping and stopping for each shepherd they passed along the way to keep on doing that. Eventually, they got to the very top of the mountain, and they see the older woman, and they see her field of watermelons that weren't ripened yet, and they went up there so that they could bring more watermelon to the woman so she could live off of it, and until her watermelon patch has finally ripened for her own consumption, and to bring it to everybody else in her village. And it was just a beautiful story reading that. And they talked about, in that article they talk about Afrofuturism, and how like some black people don't like to eat, what is it, watermelon in front of white people, and because it's just something that they feel uncomfortable with. And just saying that alone, it makes them very uncomfortable, because like, why must you feel uncomfortable eating like the fruit, a nutritional fruit in front of someone? But it's all that anger, it's all that frustration, it's all that confusion that came along with slavery, through segregation, through the civil rights movements. It's all these things that has hurt us, emotionally, mentally, and it's something that we need to come back from. We need to open ourselves up again, become vulnerable, so that we could show love to others. And being vulnerable doesn't mean being weak. It's just showing a different side of yourself. I apologize, the video keeps on cutting out, but I'm like turning it on as quick as possible. And so, these things that we need to change, it's like it's no longer the norm. We need to open each other up, and really show some love and peace to each other. And these are just things that we need to change in our society. And hopefully we come to that pretty soon, because it's not too late, but there's a lot of things rapidly changing in our world, and it's getting very scary. To the gun shootings, The kids, they're fighting for a cause, but do they know the effect of their cause truly? Because don't you think taking our guns and will mean that the police officers will have these, um, you know, to their own, add them to their own arsenal, and we become a police nation? Don't you think that we should hold some power at least? Don't abuse the power, but hold that power, because you don't want to hand that all to one person, because we all know time and time again, um, more power to someone else, they get a power trip. They they change up the game. They want to show that power, and police officers already do it. They can't restrain themselves from shooting someone, even if someone just has a baseball bat in their hand. They immediately, first reaction is pull out a gun, and they're supposed to be able to combat that. But for some reason, you give someone a gun, and it's a power trip, and it's authority to them, when they're supposed to be the civil servants of our community. Bring peace, but instead we have fear in our eyes whenever we see a police officer. So we shouldn't blame people, but in a way, like, we need to correct these mistakes and really make an actual change. So before we start skipping schools and before we start running through the streets, we should really see what's the big picture, like what is going to be the actual change in our world, and shouldn't it be our mental health and our nutrition? Educate ourselves and in the right areas, so that we won't have to come back to these mistakes again. So I want to just I just want to tell you guys I love you all, and I'm very excited for what's to come. Sorry, it stopped again, but like I said, I'm very excited for what's to come, and I'm working really hard. This is an important video for me, and peace and love, everyone. Power to the people, power to all of us. Remember that evil takes all forms. It's not just man, it is women as well, and we are all to blame, but we could. Hey guys, sorry, I had to move some files back and forth, but I'm trying to keep to where I last ended. But like I said again, I want to say again, power to the people. I want to bring peace and love to this world, and I want to bring the urgency that we need to band together and not let anyone break us apart. We need to stick side by side, because it's not just my vision, it's everyone's vision, and we need to bring it all together to become just like that one message that's going to get us there. And sometimes we could be broken apart from the inside, and forces, we bring in positive forces, the same type of negative force will come back at us and test us. And so we need to stick together and not let fear cloud our judgment, not let fear sway us into another direction. If we believe strongly what we believe in, we could take this on. And I believe that, even with the force coming at us, I believe we could still do it in a peaceful way and through love. And so, before I leave you guys, I want to, spit a verse to you guys. I wrote this. It was a poem, a spoken word that I wrote down, and I felt the urgency one morning to write this verse, and then I just flowed into it, and I was so excited by it, and I've been spitting it to other people, and they seem to enjoy it. It's very strong, and it was very important for me, and I hope that you enjoy it. Just to let you guys know, I'm not a rapper, I'm not a singer. These are things I just I fiddle with. But when I write, I do write deeply, and I love to write, and I love to share this with all of you. So here it goes. I'll be gone for a minute. You only have a second to witness that I'm speeding through life faster than light. They say I'm the illest, but really I'm a struggler trying to be one of these hustlers so I can support these baby mama dramas that we've cooked up in this natural world in its unnatural form. It's on these hard days that I extend my mind to the heavenly divine, grasping for a way to get out of this grip that they call life. It's time to switch up the game, hit restart on our Super Nintendo minds. I'm a program ready to hack into these world plans. Ain't no other way I'ma do this. I'm done living in these salty lands. Gonna give you the water of life to shoot your mind back and out of the trance that they got us in. Like a snap of a photo, you be screaming, get out! The world wasn't meant to be like this. We're broken and now it's time to heal and stop allowing them to give us this speel, telling us this is how we must feel. Brothers and sisters of the world, it's time to join hands, let's have each other's back. Ain't no other way we'll make it in this world. The land of the past will have to wait. Our ancestors want us to have better days. I feel it in my soul, we'll make it out one day. Ain't no other way to make it out alive. I'm speaking to my brothers and sisters of the world. Let's have each other's back to take it all back. Life is hard, we want what's ours. The evil minds will corrupt us and take what don't belong. We fight in the streets, blood running down the cheek. It's what they want us to be. Hand-me-down guns, they tell us to shoot sons and daughters. Bullets fly through the shadows, what you can't see won't bleed. It's conventional warfare to kill what they think is weak. Life is processed, British sweet chocolate. We consume it and I'm told I can't stop it. We have to acknowledge and process that we are what we eat. Animals running through the streets, killing each other, trying to get that milk and honey from the teat. Let's stop and think. Peace and love, everyone.